Yes, people, what's going on the street? And we're back in the building. We're back with another match reaction. FA Cup third round, first round for Liverpool and Arsenal and all the other Premier League teams. Quite a few games, obviously, over the weekend. But the big one, Arsenal versus Liverpool. And as you guys can obviously see on my screen, it was a 2-0 victory to Liverpool at the Emirates. You can kind of see in the thumbnail there, Bukayo Saka not looking best pleased. Luis Diaz obviously getting the all-important last goal of the game. And Kiwa getting an own goal for Liverpool in that second half. Absolute scumbag victory. That's all I can realistically say about that right now before we obviously dive in. Make sure you smash that like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys are subscribing to the pitch debate as well. That is mine and Jerry's new YouTube channel and shows that will be coming to your screens very, very soon. But without further ado, let's dive in.
Through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Tables turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
Yes, people, you already know what time it is. It's the FA Cup match reaction. Crazy. Talk about smash and grab from Liverpool against Arsenal. A lot of talk obviously coming into the game. If I give you guys my kind of overview of the match before we obviously dive into my match ratings and everything. Yeah, I mean, like it says there at the bottom, man, this is a smash and grab scumbag victory. A lot of talk, as I said. No Mo Salah, no Endo, no Virgil van Dijk. We found out that he's ill, potentially could miss the next game in the semi-final against Fulham. And the big Arsenal news coming out of their camp was that Gabriel Jesus was going to be injured for the game. I think it's a knee injury or something like that. But regardless of that, they still went relatively strong, if I'm being honest, in terms of available players. So, it was always going to be a tricky game. It was always going to be a tricky game. I think both teams went relatively strong, within what they could possibly choose from. Anyway, obviously excluding anybody's away on, international duty or anybody who was injured. It was quite a relatively strong team from both teams. And of course, this is the second time we're facing Arsenal. In the last, we say, a couple of weeks or so, obviously drawing 1-1 at Anfield. Again, away, everyone thought, well, let me not say everyone, some people did think that we would, go out there and completely dominate and beat Arsenal quite convincingly. And in the end, it did turn out to be that. But I think when I'm looking at the game as an overall, I thought Liverpool were poor in the game, man. I think anything else would just be a lie. I think Liverpool had very random moments in the game. I remember Trent hitting the crossbar, but as an overall, I think, yeah, Liverpool quite poor in the game, and that's what I think made the game so much more sweeter. Because you could tell Arsenal getting frustrated. You could see, trying to quicken up play, trying to make things happen a lot faster. They had obviously Havertz up top, which kind of surprised me. I don't know about Arsenal fans, but it definitely surprised me. I thought that it would have gone with Nketiah up top. And especially in that second half when they were kind of looking for a goal, chasing for a goal, they never really brought him on. And again, don't know the situation. You'd have to speak to an Arsenal fan. But for me, I found that extremely weird, that didn't really get sorted out, in the game. Trossard as well. There were little things about the game in itself that it almost felt like self-sabotage, from Mikel Arteta, or maybe just really genuinely trusted the players that were there on show. And again, if that's the case, more for you, more for you, because Liverpool, in the end, it was kind of like a professional kind of victory. We were poor in the game. First half, absolutely, completely bossed in that first half. You guys can see here These are obviously some of the stats from that first half. Arsenal dominating the possession, as I kind of expected. I'm not really looking at that. 13 shots to Liverpool's 2. 13 shots to Liverpool's 2. That is crazy. And they had 5 shots on target. Liverpool had obviously only the 2 shots. They were both off target. Arsenal had five shots obviously on target and 5 shots off target. 3 of them were blocked. They had 3 big chances in that first half, and they missed all 3 of them. They hit the woodwork. We hit the woodwork as well. I think that was the Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think, yeah, that was Alexander-Arnold's one. They had 10 shots inside the box. We only had the 2. Like, it was crazy. In my opinion, it was mad, watching that game and then, seeing how Arsenal were dominating, in my personal opinion, in that first half. And it just felt like nothing was really working for Liverpool. And we were really, really hanging in there, if I'm being totally honest with you, which Arsenal fans will obviously feel aggrieved when they go back and look at the game and, see where they could have won it and stuff like that. They should have been dead and buried in that first half. The game should have been complete and utterly over in that first half. And Liverpool should have been, kind of just trying to salvage some type of a respectable scoreline. I noticed there's 5 shots on target. I would say maybe 2 or 3 of those should be scoring those. Kind of the same problems that Liverpool have had, at various points in the season in terms of getting themselves a goal scorer, someone to really put the ball in the back of the net. As I mentioned before, they had Havertz up top. They got Saka out there on the right, Reece Nelson out there as well. Him coming in for Gabriel Martinelli. I felt like he was okay, in the game, but that's for Arsenal fans to fight over. And then we kind of get into the second half of things, and it kind of changed, a little bit. Now Liverpool had a bit more impetus. Again, possession. Again, I expected they are a much better possession-based team than Liverpool. That's their style. That's their thing. It's always been their thing since Arsene Wenger days, to be honest with you. So I'm not shocked by them dominating the possession side of things. But we had 10 shots. 3 of those were on target. One of those being the goal. Of course, we get the own goal, 6 shots off target, block shots. And then when we look here, again, both had big chances. They missed theirs. We hit the woodwork. We had 2 counter-attacking shots, counter-attacking goals, shots inside the box. Again, you look at the shots inside the box in the first half for Liverpool, and, we had 2 there. And you can see shots inside the box now. Now we've got 7. You could tell that we were just starting to turn up the heat a little bit. And it was definitely a better second half performance, from Liverpool. And to be honest, anything had to be better than that first half because we were really, really bad. And like I said, it just felt like Arsenal, it felt like how we felt against Manchester United. Keep shooting, but we ain't scoring. And you don't even look like you're going to score in 200 minutes of football. You know what I mean? So the sheer fact that Arsenal have now been through that, they can now understand the frustration that Liverpool fans went through in that Manchester United game where you just could not score to save your life. But, ultimately, Liverpool ended up, getting the 2 goals. As I said, own goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick, headed in by Kiwa. And then the second goal from Luis Diaz as well. Obviously on that right-hand side, which Ends loved to make his argument and get his point across the other day on the Ensman TV when we were doing the match preview, and we were talking about who should play on the right and stuff like that. Klopp did obviously change it around because, again, like I said, that first half, it was so poor. The front 3 were just, it was horrible to watch. It looked like, wow, we are really missing Salah. Obviously, we had Jota on the bench. So, of course, would he be starting maybe if it was a Premier League game? Who knows? And maybe we find out in the next game against Fulham in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. But obviously, Diaz on that right-hand side, able to, get himself that goal. And it was a really, really well-taken goal from Luis Diaz. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was just a weird game, in my personal opinion, man. It was genuinely just a weird game, in terms of just everything. Like I said, first half poor, second half really did do a lot better. It almost felt like I didn't feel like we was that threatening in the second half, if I'm being honest. I felt like we were just more, what I felt in the second half was that we were much more professional. That's where we became really, really professional. First off, it just looked like, we're just trying to hang in there. And whatever Klopp obviously said at half time clearly worked, because then that's when we really, Trent really, the captain of the day, didn't look like the captain in the first half. Second half, he did look like the captain. Ibu Konate, absolutely monstrous performance. And obviously we'll get into, the ratings and stuff like that in a moment. But like I said, it was a really professional second half. Would I say we were the better team? I feel maybe we just edged it. Maybe we just edged it. But yeah, that first half was, as I said, it was totally Arsenal's. You can see even I was looking at the average positions, which I found quite interesting. Look how narrow Liverpool were in the game. Trent obviously tucking in to basically playing in that kind of pivot position. But then you got, the back three after that, not really in sync, if I'm being totally honest with you. Everything looked so bunched up, at points in the game, which I didn't really like. And the sheer fact that Arsenal were a little bit wider with their, obviously, Saka playing on that right-hand side, Reece Nelson, of course, on that in the first half, playing on that left-hand side. And you can see their fullbacks very, very wide, and they were providing that width. And I just felt like at times, this is why we're getting caught out. Joe Gomez up against Saka, thought he did reasonably well. Again, we'll get into the ratings in a second. But Saka constantly had space. There were times when Joe Gomez wasn't even there, having to scamper back, to try and help out in those kind of situations. Reece Nelson felt like he was almost constantly coming up against Konate at points in that first half, because it was like, again, Trent is almost playing in that DM position, which obviously Klopp is, of course, asking for, but you're leaving us quite bare at the back there. They are constantly cutting through, and it was starting to get quite worrying in that first half. Like I said, it's like I've said all season, Liverpool getting lucky with teams just not being able to finish their dinner. If they were able to actually finish at least two of those chances, I don't know if Liverpool even come out of that game with a victory, but ultimately we did, and we got a clean sheet as well. So, smiles all round. Let's get straight into my player ratings. Let's not waste any time with this today. Hopefully you guys, let's double check, you guys can see on the screen. Yep, perfect. So obviously we had Ali in goal. Made a couple saves there. Just trying to think. I'll try to go with the negatives, then the positives. Negatives weren't really too much. Again, with Ali, I always say this is difficult trying to mark the goalkeeper sometimes, because if there's not really much that he is doing or can do in certain situations, then it makes it difficult to then kind of mark it. But I felt like Ali was pretty solid, if I'm being honest with you, so I'll give him a 7. Joe Gomez, as I mentioned, up against Saka, I felt he did do all right. Couple of times I felt like Saka's getting the beating of him, but then obviously after that it's up to whatever Saka wants to do. But overall, going forward, I know he had that shot. That first goal will come at some point in time, hopefully, if he carries on this way. I felt like he was okay. It was a real battle against Saka. Again, forget how poor Saka was after that. It's the battle I'm looking at, because I can only judge it on the individual basis between whoever his opponent is. And I felt like Saka edged that battle, in my personal opinion. So I'll give him a 6.5. Kwanzaa, I thought Kwanzaa again was solid. There was one moment in that game where he looked like he rolled his ankle. In fact, I think he actually did. So that's going to be interesting. I haven't checked any match conferences or anything like that, so I don't know if Klopp's mentioned it or he's spoken about it. Just kind of got in myself, so I'll have a little look at that. Hopefully he's okay, but I felt like he was quite solid in the game, especially alongside Ibu Konate. I felt like he was generally solid, so give him a 7. Again, Konate absolutely immense in this game. Had a really good game when we played them up at Anfield. Everyone obviously talking about him, Van Dijk, Saliba, and Gabriel. I felt like he was really immense, and it's so difficult when he's like. One thing about him is that he's got that athleticism to play in this role as that right-sided centre-back, obviously because of the role that Trent Alexander-Arnold plays, i.e. he leaves him bare all the time. He leaves him constantly with no help sometimes, and he's having to kind of, up against the winger when in the reality it's like, well, where was the right back in the first place? A couple of times, of course, when Martinelli came on, he beat Trent. He's beaten Trent obviously on the outside. Now he's getting in dangerous situations, but Konate's there to kind of stop that. And I just felt like his all-round game, he seems to be getting a bit better on the ball as well. That's definitely something I will say. Still not where I would call comfortable, but he's getting better, at it. And when you look at the stats here from Konate, wasn't dribble past once at all in the game, no fouls, which is so key. I don't think you guys understand that for Kanate is big because this guy will do dumb fouls all the time. 100% duels, 2 out of 2, 60 touches, 1 possession 4 times, 2 clearances, 2 blocks, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle. As I mentioned, we were so under the cosh in that first half. We needed almost a steady head in there. And for me, he provided that, if I'm being totally honest. So I'll give him an 8. I'll give him 8.5 actually. Trent at points in the game I felt was really, really good. Obviously, of course, provided the free kick for the goal, and got that shot off that hit the crossbar in that first half. Again, sometimes out of position. Well, I say out of position, but if it's the position that Klopp's asking him, then fair enough. But at times, I do think you need to be a bit smarter with when you do the inverted thing. That's something I've always thought about with Trent, and why I've always been quite cautious with him playing in midfield, because being in midfield, you need to have the brains to do so. Don't think it's all there just yet. And I think at times in this game, he was going a little bit too walkabouts too much. And at times you think to yourself, mate, maybe this isn't the time to do that, especially when we're under the cosh. I don't really need you, going walkabouts all the time, and kind of leaving us, threadbare, at the back there. But again, like I said, his all-round game in a general sense, I thought was okay. I'll probably give him, obviously got that assist. I'll give him a 7. Curtis Jones, felt like Curtis Jones, for me anyway, wasn't really all that, if I'm being totally honest with you. Like, it was above average, but that's probably the best I could say about Curtis Jones in the game. I didn't really feel like he was really imposing himself in the way that I kind of wanted him to, especially in this kind of game. It's a tricky one with Jones. I don't want to mark him down too much, so if I'm being totally honest with you, but him coming off, I felt like him coming off alongside others, but him coming off, I felt contributed to us actually getting the victory, if I'm being totally honest with you. 1 3 out of 7 ground duels in the game. At times I did feel like he was getting kind of bypassed in that kind of left central midfield position, not really helping out Gomez when it came up to coming up to Saka and stuff like that, where they might try and then double team obviously on that side when Saka then has the ball. I'll give him a 6.5. Alexis McAllister, I can't lie, I genuinely forgot that this brother was even playing at times. Like, I mean, he was okay. Passing was really good from McAllister. 1 2 out of 2 tackles. Aerial duels, he won 4 out of 4. So defensively, yeah, you could say he was pretty decent. But at the same time, again, a bit like with Curtis Jones, I just always kept feeling like these guys are almost kind of getting bypassed. He got dispossessed at one point in the game, which then obviously led to another attack from Arsenal, which they could have scored from. If I gave that's 6.5. That's what I'm giving him. Harvey Elliott. Obviously, there was a lot of talk. Prior to the game starting. Where's he going to play, and all of this kind of stuff. It kind of felt like when we were doing like the team sheets and all of that kind of stuff, we were trying to figure out like the predicted lineups. We were trying to figure out, okay, well, who's going to play on the right hand side, and it kind of felt like Elliot was on the right hand side, but then kind of obviously playing in that right central midfield position. But then he was almost doing that thing he does when Salah's still there, which is you're occupying spaces. And sometimes I feel like, again, it's just that brain, being smart enough to understand where you need to be, in certain situations. 6.5 for me. Yeah, like for me, the midfield, I thought they were poor, man. I genuinely thought that they were poor. I don't think it even really changed until I saw Gravenberch and Jota come on, to the pitch. Moving to Gakpo. Gakpo, ghost, absolute ghost. This brother always ghost. Not always. He ghosts in games. No, he ghosts in games. But I'm just like, sometimes, bro, like I need you to offer me something, man. I'm bigging you up all the damn time. Man's showing support like a supporter should. But you sometimes you go so ghost in games, man. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating watching him sometimes, man. But yeah, for me, 5.5. Darwin Núñez should have scored at one point. Then there was the pass that he should have played to Diaz. Outside of that, defensively, again, like I said, I've got to judge him on that now. Defensively, I thought he was okay. I thought he was okay in the game. Overall, 6 probably. It was like a 6 above average kind of performance. Maybe. Then he moved out to the left-hand side in that second half. Did I feel like he? Well, obviously, when we made the changes and stuff. I'm just trying to remember. Do I feel like he was dope on that side? No, obviously 5 is average. 6. I'll give him 6.5. I'll give him a 6.5. I'll give him a 6.5. Luis Diaz, of course, got the goal. Obviously on that right-hand side, big up ends because he was banging on about it like there was no tomorrow about Luis Diaz playing on that right-hand side. Obviously started off in that left-hand side. Like I said, the first half was really, really poor from Liverpool. So, everyone was poor, to be honest with you. So everyone could have got like less than 5. I think I gave everybody in my mind, I was giving everybody less than a 5 prior to the second half starting because I said it was that poor. It was so bad. And Diaz was a part of that. But ultimately in that second half, when Klopp kind of shifted things around, we made a couple of substitutions and stuff like that. Diaz was starting to become a bit more alive and we were utilizing him a bit more with, say, Núñez on the left and then Diaz kind of on the right-hand side. He had 3 shots in the game. Just taking a look here, shot accuracy 2 out of 3, successful dribbles 3 out of 3. Are we finally seeing the Diaz of old? It'll be interesting to see if he's able to kind of keep this up. It's now 1.5 games that we've now seen from Luis Diaz. So obviously the game against Newcastle the other day, and then obviously 45 minutes in this game where he was really, really good. I'll give Diaz a 7. I'll give Diaz a 7. I think 7's a fair scoreline. But yeah, that's kind of my scores. Subs, I'll give all the subs 6s probably, like for everybody, to be honest. Diogo Jota and Gravenberch, coming onto the pitch, I felt like that kind of changed the balance a little bit. For me, with Jota on the pitch, it added a bit more fluidity. So I feel like we're going to need Diogo Jota if we're going to obviously get through this period without Mo Salah. And then again, seeing how it looks like without Mo Salah, I know we got the 2 goals and stuff like that. At the moment, it's still going to be questions asked about it. I wouldn't say I'm convinced to realistically say, but at the same time, maybe Klopp doesn't go with this front 3 that he went with. Maybe he goes with a different type of front 3, in the Premier League game that we've got coming up soon. So who knows? Who kind of knows? But that's kind of my score. Man of the match, easy. That's Konate. I'm not even going to question that one. I felt he was absolutely immense in the game. And he was for me, he was the reason why Liverpool did not lose that game, or helped towards not losing that game. I know he was being a bit modest after the game, saying, if it wasn't for my teammates, your teammates weren't helping you for shit. It was you. This was actually one of those when Salah scores all the goals and we're like, bro, if it wasn't for you, we would have lost. This was literally one of those times. So yeah, I think that for me kind of wraps up the player ratings. Just enlarging it for you guys so you guys can see. So we'll quickly go through it now. Alisson gave him a 7, Gomez 6.5, Kwanzaa 7, Konate 8.5, Trent Alexander-Arnold 7, McAllister 6.4, whole midfield 6.5, McAllister, Elliott, Jones, Diaz a 7, Núñez 6.5, and Cody Gakpo a 5.5. So of course, guys, come to the end now. So let me know what you guys think in regards to the ratings. Too high, too low, just about right. Who was your man of the match? Of course, let me know in the comment section below. And of course, as it says here, scroll across the bottom, please make sure that you subscribe to the Pitch Debate. Mine and Jerry's new show coming to you guys real soon. First episode should be coming out real soon, so make sure you guys stay locked in. Make sure you head on over to the Jerry James show. He will be doing a tactics board, but possibly tomorrow, I believe, if not this evening by the time this is posted out. So just make sure you got your notification bells on. And I will be doing a live this week, don't know what day, but just stay locked in, talking about, is football now becoming artificial. But of course, stay locked in. Make sure you smash that like, make sure you share, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I'm G, and we are out.